Good day, good day, good day, my lovelies. You can see it is pick a card time. My internet's gone out, so I can't work, so good for you. You get to do a pick a card reading. The first one's all about Egyptians. There's a small deck and a big deck. This is an Egyptian Oracle guide cards. It's a small deck and a big deck and the pyramid. Next one is about, it says, the Self is the top card. There's a crystal. And we're using the Path of Light Oracle and the Gateway Oracle. And the third one is all about angels. Cards are Angel Guide card by Kyle Gray and Guardian Angel Oracle. So 1, 2, or 3, I will leave the timestamps for you. Also, very importantly, you can choose all 3 or you can choose 2. Choose whichever ones speak to you. Welcome to the Egyptian reading. We are doing Egyptian God Oracle cards and the All-Set Egyptian Oracle cards. This is a general group reading. We'll do 3 small ones at the top. 3 big ones at the bottom. Seek assistance. It'll come out again if it's meant to come out. These are very big cards. I'm just going to shuffle them this way. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and look at the bottom for the overall energy of the read. Earthly focused. So if you've been bound up in spiritual things, you've been doing a lot of spiritual practices lately, remember to come down to earth and to meet your earthly obligations. So card number 1, resourcefulness. You are a resourceful person. Sometimes you feel like you're lacking resources, or you overcome by overwhelm. You're not sure what to do next. Just dig deep within you, and you will have everything you need to complete your goals, your mission within you. Passion. Try and reclaim your passion and your drive for what it is that you're doing in life, your goals, your aspirations. And if you're feeling a little bit out of sorts and that you don't have much drive and passion at the moment, maybe just take time out, take a day out or a couple of hours or an hour and just sit quietly, do some breathing, maybe get out into nature, have a walk. Bastet, she's a cat goddess. So if you have any cats, go and spend some time with them, just touching them, getting the energy from them. Watch some funny cat videos. That'll just help to lift your mood. But you do have passion, but you need to make sure that you don't burn yourself out with too much passion. Intelligence. This is rely on yourself. You've got the intelligence to do whatever it is that you need to do with your life. You've got the intelligence and the passion to make a good getting a good go of your life, a good inroads into what it is that you want to be doing. So if things are not working too well, just think about them and lean on your own intelligence, because you know yourself better than anybody else. You know your heart better than anybody else. And just think about what it is. Think a bit logically. And these 2 cards are really interesting because you've got the passion and you've got the intelligence. So if you've got a passion for, I don't know, being a basketball player, you also need to use your intelligence to tell you whether or not that's something that you can actually do. If you don't have the skill or the training, then you might not be able to do it. So you might have to have, some of your passions might need to be just hobbies, but sometimes your passions can be your livelihood as well. So follow your passion, but be a little bit mindful and a little bit mentally disciplined about what you do with that passion. Seek assistance. This card came out in the very beginning when it just fell out, and I said it would come out again if it needed to. So whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is you're trying to achieve or to attain, yes, you've got passion, yes, you've got intelligence, you've got the drive behind you, but you also need to be mindful enough and I'm trying to find the word. not mindful. It's just not intelligence. It's, the word is sensible. You need to be sensible enough to seek assistance. You don't have to do everything yourself, and just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. So, for example, if you're a business owner and you can do the books in your business, but it's not your passion and it takes up too much of your time and you don't have enough time for actually running your business, then maybe that's not something you should be doing. Because you can coach your kids' little league game, doesn't mean you should if it's taking away your time and energy from your family. So seek assistance where you can, where you need to. You're not in this all alone. Okay. Please leave me a comment. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Pregnancy and birth. This is not a literal pregnancy and birth, although it can mean that. What it means is when you grow an idea or a concept, and then you birth it, you bring it into being. So a silly little example is, I had a corner in my kitchen that was a mess. It was a mess for years, and I decided in my mind, I had this idea that I wanted to put up some shelves, and then I could put all my blender, different blades and attachments and everything on these shelves, and it would clean up that particular corner of the kitchen. And so I had it in my mind, and then I went out and I got the shelves that I needed. I put them up, and then I tidied everything away on the shelves, just as I had envisaged it in my mind. So, and then the next time I went into the kitchen, the idea was there in reality. So that's a silly example, but it just shows that if you can imagine something, then you can plan for it, you can take the steps, and you can bring it to fruition. And so what is it that you've been wanting to do for ages? It can be a big thing or a small thing. You've got the capacity to see it through. You just need to make a plan and take some steps, get some assistance if you need it. Now remember to like if you do and subscribe if you haven't. This is a beautiful card. Alchemy and healing. And so when you use your resources and your passion and your intelligence, get some help, get your plan in motion, and then what will happen is that the alchemy will happen. Your idea will be transformed into reality, and you will probably receive some kind of a healing, some kind of a completion, some kind of a you'll feel that you're moving on the road to where you need to be, your life's purpose, your soul's purpose. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. Sometimes we talk about soul purpose, people think about, Jesus' sole purpose was to save the world. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It could be your purpose at this time is to give $10 to the hungry person who's outside, just to be kinder to shopkeepers, whatever it is. And purposes can change over time as well. So don't think because you had a sole purpose when you were younger to be an athlete, and now you're older, and you don't know what your purpose is anymore. Purposes can change, and you can have many purposes and goals. But when you're doing what it is that you feel is within your resources and your passion and your intelligence to do, you will start to feel fulfilled. You'll start to feel healed, and it'll be a beautiful thing. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to watch number 2 or 3, please go ahead now. Welcome, deck number 2 people. You're the ones with the crystal, the self, and the gateway deck. And the self comes from the Path of Light deck. So I'm going to put that back in, and I'm going to shuffle. I'll shuffle, and we'll see what comes out for you. And this is a general reading, so it can be interpreted in several different ways, depending on your situation and your circumstance. I'm just going to do a simple 3 at the top, 3 cards at the bottom, and we will get the overall energy as well for you. Love this deck by Denise Lynn, Gateway deck. We'll also pull a card, or we'll look at the bottom card on this deck to see what the overall energy for this reading is. 1, 2, 3, and the overall energy for you, my lovely people, is emerging into grace. I open my soul to grace. So this tells me that you are on a spiritual journey, and you're going to that place, or you're getting to that place where you can really rely on the divine, you can rely on your understanding of the divine, and you can rely on your relationship with the divine. Now, divine for you might mean many different things, or for different people it might mean different things, but you're emerging on your spiritual journey, and you're learning to go with the flow. So let's see. So you are in the right place if you wanted to learn about yourself, the self, the stairway to heaven. This was obviously the initial card that I had set out, and you saw I shuffled them and it came out again. So it's time to work on yourself. It's time to maybe give yourself some grace, give yourself some love, give yourself an opportunity to grow on your spiritual journey. Karma is balancing for you. Even if things have gone wrong earlier in your life, you've done things you're not proud of, or past lives, perhaps things have happened. Maybe you've come into awareness of them, or you're not aware of them, but things just don't seem to be going your way. You can rebalance karma, and how you rebalance karma is being service to other people. So you don't even need to know what it is that's been holding you back, but by acts of service, you can balance karma. So an act of service might be just something as simple as giving a random person a flower, or maybe not a random person, because that might be a bit stalkerish and creepy, but maybe somebody you see every day, a shopkeeper every day that you see, just take them a flower out of your garden, or something simple, and start looking out for where can you make a difference in the world, because you want to explore yourself and you want to explore your spirituality, but we must always still be grounded on earth. Responsibility. Yes, we've all got responsibilities, and if your responsibilities are weighing you down, then it's important to balance your spiritual with the physical world. And is there anywhere in your life where you can hand the responsibility to somebody else, just to give you a little bit more freedom, a little bit more breathing room? So one example that I have from my own life, when my children were little, and my son was in and out of hospital, and my other son needed to go to drama class, I just found the return journey from drama class was it just sucked the life out of my soul. It just made me so exhausted. I didn't mind dropping him off, but bringing him home was just to go out again. It just really exhausted me. So what I did was I asked the drama teacher, was there anybody else whose parents lived near me? I could take their child to drama and they could bring my child home. And it turned out that the drama teacher drove right past my house to go home. So for the next 2 years, the drama teacher brought my son home after drama class, and it was amazing. They developed a very interesting friendship. The drama teacher was quite young, and they had these amazing conversations that they wouldn't have had. There was a trusted adult to bring my son home, and so it was a responsibility that I had taken on that I didn't need to have taken on. And then another time when I was burnt out, I had just taken on being the secretary of the local PTA, the Parent Teacher Association. My son was diagnosed with something, an illness that I was going to need my time to help him. And although I really wanted to be the secretary of the PTA, and I'd only just started, I decided to hand that responsibility to somebody else. So, and they were good. They understood. I mean, they were disappointed. But for me, that then freed me up to be the mother that I wanted to be. And being a mother was much more value to me than being a parent who contributed to the school. I mean, both to me were ways of being a good mother, but I needed to be a bit more personal to my son. So I hope that story helps somebody. If you've taken on a responsibility that does not need to be taken on by you necessarily, perhaps you can pass it on to somebody else, and that'll free you up to have some grace with yourself. Now, remember, your comments really do encourage me, and it helps the YouTube algorithm. So please, even if you just leave an emoji, I will be greatly appreciative. Okay, so now's the time to trust your intuition and to understand that your life is truly guided. You can see that there's a storm happening there, and there's this river in the middle here, going with the flow, and there's a keyhole. Going with the flow is the key to living an intuitive life, to living a spiritual life, to living a balanced life, because it's not just about spirituality. You need to be grounded as well. And so when you're not sure which way to turn, remember you can trust your intuition. Believing in magic. Magic is abounding in my life. So this is about having not only affirmations that show you where you want to go in your life, but things that you actually believe in. Because I find that when I use affirmations, if I don't believe the affirmation, I get a cognitive dissonance. My brain tells me, well, that's not true. And then I feel bad. So for me to say I'm a millionaire when I'm not a millionaire, that will never ever work for me. But what I do say instead is I receive money frequently from unexpected places. And since I started saying that, and I have the energy of laughing with it, I was like, hey, isn't life great? I receive money from unexpected places. I always get money wherever I go. And since I started saying that, I would find some money in a coat pocket. The other day, I went through a bag that had a whole lot of birthday cards. My birthday was a few months ago, and I opened one of the birthday cards, and somebody had given me $50 for my birthday that I'd forgotten about, but I found it again. So, and I've received refunds for things I didn't know that I needed to get refunds for. So, yeah. So believe in magic, whatever it is that you want. So whether it's love or, if it's money, it's fine. It's fine to have money. The universe is here to bless us all. And so whatever it is, if you believe that it can happen, then it can happen. And sometimes miracles don't always happen. My dad was terribly ill, and we knew he was going to pass away, and I prayed for him to heal, and he didn't heal. But, his life was a blessing to others, because in his last days in the hospice, he was actually praying for the other dying patients. And if he hadn't been there in that moment, I don't know, 20 people who died, who he prayed with, wouldn't have had him there in the middle of the night praying with them, and they might not have died in peace. So miracles do happen, but sometimes not in the way that we expect them to happen. So yeah, believe in magic and then go with the flow. It's so remember to like if you do and subscribe if you haven't. And there we go. I've been getting a strong sense throughout this reading about going with the flow, and here we go. The card says, being in the flow. I am in the flow of the universe. And to help you feel like you're in the flow, remember to do some breathing. Just deep breathing in and out. It really can help you. So, for example, if you're stuck in traffic and you're feeling agitated, just remember to breathe. Just remember to breathe. You don't have to do a big fat meditation session for 2 hours. Just several times throughout the day, just go, today I'm going to flow with the universe. So you set the intention, and then things will fall where they should. Things will work out, plans. And remember, if you take a wrong path, some of us are so worried in life about taking the wrong path. If you take a wrong path, it doesn't matter, because it can be a detour that teaches you something on your life's journey. So it's just like when you're in the GPS, and the GPS tells you to turn here, and you turn at the wrong turning, and then it says, recalculating. God, Spirit, the divine is more than capable of recalculating your journey and bringing you back to center, bringing you back to the road, the path that you should be on. And there's many paths that you could be on to achieve your destiny. So remember, by emerging into grace, trust your intuition, believe in magic, go with the flow. And then a final card I'm going to leave you with talks about embracing the future. Sometimes we're scared of what's going to happen next. But this card says, I step into the future with an open heart. So each morning, if you could say to yourself, every morning, I step into today with an open heart, or I step into the future with an open heart, I think things will be changing in your life dramatically. Thank you very much for listening, and of course you're welcome to listen to the third reading. Welcome, pile 3, the angel pile. That was your symbol, and we're doing the Guardian Angel Oracle and the Angel Guide Oracle by Kyle Gray. Now I have shuffled the cards off screen, and I'll shuffle some more. I just wanted to show you that first card that we initially drew says ease and grace. So pile 3. What does pile 3 need to know from the divine today? Okay, we're just going to do simple 3 cards at the top. And 3 cards at the bottom. And then we will also look at the energy, overall energy. And the overall energy is the Angel of Balance. Balance is really important in our lives. When we're unbalanced, yeah, we can end up with burnout. We can be prone to depression. We can be prone to anxiety when we take on too much work, or if we're too spiritual and we don't do enough work. So we'll see what that angel has to say to us. We'll come back to her towards the end. Surrender. Ooh, sweet, sweet surrender. And sometimes people say, well, how do I surrender to the universe? Well, you pray about things, you meditate about things, you think of a plan of action in your mind, and then you do what you can, and you leave the rest to God, the divine, universe, spirit. So don't be in your head too much. Don't be too worried about things. Don't be trying to force things to happen. Surrender. It's an energy of openness. Ooh, learning experience. So sometimes people get frustrated where they're trying to go down a certain path, and then something not in accordance with their path or their plan happens. So I'll give you a quick example. My husband, he studied biology and microbiology, and he was trying to get into medical school, and he applied 3 times, and every time he applied, he didn't get in. And so then he ended up going to law school with his biology degree behind him, and then he ended up being a patent attorney. And it's taken his life on a completely different journey than if he had been a doctor, but he loves his life. So he could still achieve all the things that he wanted to achieve as a doctor. He could help people. He could be at the cutting edge of technology. He's got a fantastic family. So even though the path took him in a road that he didn't have in his mind, it ended up being a very good path. So he used the not getting into medical school as a learning experience. He learned from that experience, and he moved on. He accepted what life had to offer. So basically the same as the surrender card there. Listen deeply. Sometimes when the universe tells us no, or the divine tells us no, it's because it's something that's not meant to be. So, for example, if your deep desire is to have a child and it's just not happening, there might be a different path for you, as difficult as that is. And I'm reminded of Jennifer Aniston. She famously wanted to have children. She wished that she had frozen her eggs earlier in life, and she did IVF for many years and ended up not being able to conceive. Because she had that situation happen in her life, she's been very public about it, and she's been very public about saying she wished she had frozen her eggs earlier in life. There could be 100, 1,000, 10,000 women out there who are getting to that stage of they need to store their eggs, otherwise they're going to lose that opportunity to have children. So through her very difficult situation, she might have inspired hundreds of thousands of women to have their eggs frozen so that they can have children. So even though she cannot be a mother herself, she can have that knock-on influence effect. And I don't know what your personal circumstances are, and I'm not being mean or derogatory or anything, and I'm not lessening the heartbreak that goes on with it. But listen deeply. What can your difficult experiences in life teach you? I've recently been applying for a particular job. It's a job that comes up every now and then. And I've been applying for this job coming up for the last 3 years, and I'm listening deeply, and is this really the job for me? And I do believe it is. So last week I applied again. So sometimes when the universe says no to you, it's a hard no, and you're just not going to get it no matter how much you try. And sometimes it's a signal for you to persevere and keep trying. I'm assuming that at some stage I will find a better job, or I will decide not to pursue the one that I've been trying for. But at the moment, I'm listening deeply. I'm planning. I'm learning from each experience. I'm learning how to improve my CV and my interview techniques, and I'm surrendering it to the divine and saying, Divine, God, Lord, universe, please bring me this job if it's right for me and if I'm right for it at this time. Because also timing can be a reason why you've been told no for something. So talking about timing, please at this time, can you leave a comment? Comments are really helpful for YouTube algorithm, and I would really appreciate it. Angel of gratitude. So appreciate what you've got on the way to where you're going. So, and sometimes gratitude is a tricky word. People say, oh, you should be grateful. It can be an accusatory energy around it. Sometimes what I prefer to do with myself, instead of thinking of the word gratitude, I can think of the word appreciate. Because when I'm burnt out and I'm feeling down and I'm feeling low on energy, sometimes I don't really have much emotions. And, I'm not doing a happy dance. Yay, I've got a husband. Yay, I've got my children. And then I feel ungrateful because I don't have that woo kind of feeling that I think that gratitude should feel like. I don't, when I'm burnt out, I don't have that emotion of wanting to do cartwheels. I might be going, oh my goodness, now I've got to cook dinner. So the word gratitude, be careful with that word. I prefer to have the word appreciate, because I can appreciate my husband. He's an incredible man. He's wonderful. He does so much for the family. He's a great provider. He's a wonderful husband. He's a great father. Could be a little more romantic, but you can see how the tone changes. So appreciation, gratitude. We can be grateful that our internet works, because today my internet is not working and I can't work because my internet's not working, and I work online. So what I'm appreciating is, well, now I've got the morning to do some readings. That's what I'm appreciating. So whatever it is that lifts your energy is a higher emotion, because we can do more and achieve more when we've got a higher emotion. Okie dokie, angel of challenges. Haha, I got a challenge with my work because I don't have any internet. So life is full of challenges. It's not a success only journey, as Dr. Phil says. But the challenges, it's how you approach the challenge that determines how your life is going to turn out and the direction you're going to go in your life. So, and I know it's hard. I've got 2 children with disabilities, and I can promise you the challenges we faced with them have been heartbreaking. There were days, weeks, months, years when one or the other was in and out of hospital, and it was hard. And I'm not diminishing the challenges that anybody faces in this world. Your challenges are your challenges. And don't think, I used to think, well, my child is in hospital and he's in pain and he's very sick, but he doesn't have cancer, he's not dying, so I should be grateful. I should be grateful that my child only has this particular disability and this particular issue. So whenever you tell yourself I should be, try and change your wording around. Don't bully yourself into I should be. And no, your challenge is not diminished because somebody else has a different challenge that on the outside looks worse, or is at a different level, or relates to something different. The fact that people in the next ward had children with cancer who may not survive it didn't mean that my challenge with my child, who was screaming in agony, was any less. And when I allowed myself to acknowledge to myself, this is hard. this is hard. And you know what? Sometimes life sucks. When I let myself say that to myself, I kind of gave myself permission to go, you know, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. I'm going to need help. I'm going to need resources. I'm going to need to listen deeply. I'm going to need to give up some of the things that I love. I'm not going to have time to have hobbies. I'm going to need to put all of my love and attention into this child that needs me right now, without ignoring the other child who also is disabled and also needs me. So challenges, people can be glib and say, oh, learn from your challenges. It's an ongoing process. It's an ongoing process, and be kind to yourself during that process. And yes, when you're further down the track with your challenge, there might be things that have come out of it that you can help other people in similar situations with. But when you're going through it, be kind to yourself, and remember, you've got divine protection. You're not alone. You've got me, you've got this channel, you've got angels, you've got guardians, you've got spirits, family. And sometimes family are not the best people to help you through challenges. I found this with my children's health challenges. Family were very dismissive of it, and one family member said to me, I can't believe that God would allow that child to have that particular condition. And that totally invalidated the medical condition that my child had, and totally invalidated me as a mother. All I wanted was somebody to hug me. And then she's saying, oh, God wouldn't let your child have that particular condition. Yeah. So be careful of who you surround yourself with when you get challenges. And I found, actually, with my child's disability, we've had different challenges with them, but you can find online support groups for just about anything. So whatever illness, ailment, concern, challenge, difficulty you're going through, there are online communities, and if all else fails, your local church will often be a place where you can go in and talk to them. You don't have to be, in most cases, you don't have to be religious. Salvation Army is very great at that. Yeah. So, surrender, deep breathe. So we've come from challenges and moving out from the darkness into the light. And it just struck me. Sometimes people, I'll come back to this card now. Sometimes people say you should be grateful for your challenges because they're a learning opportunity. No, I was not grateful that my child was in hospital screaming in agony. No, but I was grateful that there were nurses, and I felt this gratitude right in my heart. I was grateful that there were nurses that nurtured my child and cared for him. I was angry that there were doctors who didn't know what was wrong with my son and who dismissed my concerns as a mother. I was angry about that, but I kept on searching for medical answers, and we did find medical answers in the end for both my children, and that's a story for another day. But when somebody tells you you have to be grateful for your challenge, I want to say something very, very rude, which I won't, because I'm trying to keep this channel clean. No, actually, fuck off, really. They don't know what it's like to walk in your shoes. They don't know. And so don't make yourself feel that you have to be grateful for your challenges because you're going to learn something. No, that's not the way to look at it. Be grateful for the people around you who can help you and support you. Acknowledge that it's a difficult time. Acknowledge that it's a dark time that you're going through. But remember that there always is light at the end of the tunnel, even if you can't see it now, even if you can't see better times ahead. And when my child was lying in that hospital screaming in agony and none of the doctors knew what on earth was wrong with him, I couldn't see a light at the end of the tunnel. And even if you don't feel the words and you don't believe the words that I'm saying to you right now, just take them in logically, because things do change. And I don't know what the light at the end of the tunnel is going to look like for you, but my son was diagnosed, he was properly treated, and he is a healthy, happy 21-year-old man. When he was going through his medical challenges, he couldn't go to school, he couldn't leave the house, he was in chronic pain, and acute pain. And we got the answers, we got the treatment, we got the right medical people, and he was 100% cured from that particular ailment. And so while you're going through challenges, and it is so hard, try and have some balance if you can. And I know it's hard. I mean, when my son was going through that difficult time, the last person who I looked after was me, and that was just because of the nature of the beast. I needed to take him to hospital often, and yeah, that was just how it was. But afterwards I realized, when my other son's disabilities started coming to the fore, and I knew we were going to, and he had chronic illness as well, and I knew we might be going down this hospital medicalization path of trying to figure out what ailed him. I knew second time round that I needed to have more balance. And so what I did was I just took 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes, locked myself in the bathroom, told my husband, "You're in charge," told my kids, "I'm not available," for 5 minutes, and I just did some breathing. I would take a shower. With just that 5 minutes would be, and that really did help me. Yeah. And then the last card, the Angel of Unity. So can you show me some unity, and like if you haven't, and like if you do, and subscribe if you haven't. Yeah, you're not in this alone, and that's what I didn't realize for much of my journey with both my children's medical issues and disability issues, because they had medical and disability. There is so much support. There's so many support groups online for every kind of issue that you could ever face in your life, whether it's losing weight, whether it's not being able to conceive, whether it's the most obscure illnesses that you've never heard of. There, and I found Facebook was really good for this. It really helped. And further down my journey, I found that the unity of other people really just helped me. And you don't even have to contribute in those groups. You can just go and read what other people are saying, and so it helps you feel validated to hear this other person has had the similar experience. This other person found it difficult to get diagnosed, and it's not that it makes your pain any less. It's just that you're not so alone, and you don't have to be alone. So my lovelies, I'm sending you lots of love and blessings. Until the next time.